Free sanitizer, soap, bleach and food worth €100 million. That's the frontline defence from Unilever in response to the coronavirus crisis, with half of their donation going to the World Economic Forum's COVID Action Platform. I'm Katie Cliff from the forum, joined by Rebecca Marmot, the Chief Sustainability Officer at Unilever. Welcome, Rebecca. And I guess we should start. I mean, you're meeting that global demand, that need for soap worldwide to fight COVID-19. Tell us about this donation, where it's going to have the greatest impact.
Thanks, Katie. So we decided as Unilever to take very much a value chain approach when we were dealing with the COVID crisis. So we split our work streams up into different areas. The first and most important one focusing on our people and ensuring that they are protected, they're able to go, the factory workers and lab workers who are still required to go into the building rather than work from home, to check that they are adequately looked after and make sure they have full health and safety protection. That's our number one priority. And then of course thinking about our employees who are working at home, not just physical health, but also mental health. Then we looked at what can we do with our customers and our suppliers, and really crucially using the power of our balance sheet to extend about 500 million euros worth of credit to help our small-scale retailers and small-scale suppliers. And the third big area is really looking at what can we do in society, and that's where our partnership in WEF really comes to the fore. So what we decided to do was to announce a €100 million donation, which is leveraging the product portfolio that Unilever has, which really lends itself to helping to fight the COVID crisis. So thinking about soap, thinking about sanitizer, thinking about sanitation products, of course, crucially, essential food as well. What we decided to do with the World Economic Forum is to use the power of your COVID Action Platform to partner up with other like-minded companies that are also WEF partners to complement what Unilever has to offer. So when Unilever can, for example, provide soap and sanitizer or much needed essential food types, we'll partner through the WEF with logistics partners that you may have in place to ensure that we can get what's needed to people on the ground through the partnerships that you have. So for example, working with UNICEF or working with UNHCR to get those much needed products out there on the ground and to really try and help people who desperately need access to these products today.
And I guess that talks about the benefit of you bringing this donation to the platform, being able to be linked to these different multi-stakeholders. How important is that for you, and how do you see that it's helped scale up your response in this area to COVID?
I mean, I think one of the most important things for the platform for us was speed and agility. This crisis has been on the cards, but when it hit very quickly. And I think what the WEF platform has enabled us to do is to work at speed with the partners to be able to identify what they need and where they need it, so that we can work on logistics and operations in partnership with some of the other partners that you're bringing to the table through the platform, and to make sure that we get things out quickly and efficiently. I think there's been also real benefit from working with others in the private sector to make sure that through the World Economic Forum, we're able to work together to lobby, for example, on ensuring the essential movement and flow of these goods, and to make sure that they don't get held up in customs or whatever else, and ensure that they get to people on the ground who need them.
It's wonderful to see. I mean, you mentioned at the start the range of initiatives that Unilever is investing in for fighting the coronavirus crisis. We're talking to businesses today, and we're looking at the forum at how a range of companies are responding to the coronavirus crisis. From your experience, I guess, what would you say might be some advice or guidance for other companies watching in terms of responding to this pandemic, what you've learned through your actions so far?
I think for me, there's probably three main areas. The first is to look after your employees. They are absolutely vital. This is an unprecedented time for everybody. So I talked earlier about protecting our physical health and protecting the physical health of our employees, making sure that they have all the PPE equipment that's necessary for them to be able to carry on their work, because they are really the true heroes, the people working in the factories, in supply chain, ensuring that these products are being manufactured and are being distributed around the world. I think also, and I mentioned this again earlier, the mental health of our employees, because it's quite scary. No one knows what's going to happen. No one's worked in an environment like this for a prolonged period. And I think making sure that we stay connected with our, that you utilize things like Zoom, utilize Skype, utilize Microsoft Teams, and make sure that you're having regular check-ins, not just about work, but also around social, and checking that people are feeling happy and they're feeling secure, because I think the volatility is making people, understandably, and myself included, feel very insecure and nervous about the future. I think the second big thing is really thinking about the reach that companies can have and the influence that they can have. So for example, with Unilever, we can utilize the power of some of our brands to really reinforce government safety messages. So I think about brands like soap brands that Unilever has, Lifebuoy, for example, where we've worked with governments in many different countries around the world to reinforce the importance of good hand washing. We've worked, for example, with Persil in the UK to reinforce the importance of staying at home and playing at home instead of playing outside to maintain social distancing. And I think where you can utilise either your reach or the assets that you have as a business, it's hugely beneficial. We worked, for example, with the Department for International Development here out of the UK to partner with them on a health and hygiene education platform. So utilising Unilever's expertise in behaviour change and how we can work together to develop campaigns that will encourage people to practice good hygiene and good sanitation, and then work with a selection of different partners on the ground, NGOs and other agencies, to be able to bring those campaigns to life. And then I think the third big area is not to take our eye off the ball around the future as well. And I think, there's been a number of articles and messages around not forgetting that in a post-COVID world, we also need to think about the ongoing issues like climate. And clearly at the moment, all our eyes and all our focus is on fighting the COVID-19 virus, but we need to be mindful as well that as we move forward, we need to prepare for it will be very different, and we don't, any of us, know what that's going to look like. So to reinforce the importance of making sure that things like climate change don't come off the agenda, and then we continue to work together. So those are the three big areas for me.
This is great and wonderful to speak to you, not only to hear about the donation, then how you've used a multi-stakeholder network to scale it up, but then to hear how you're positioning and thinking about the future. It's been a great conversation today. Rebecca Marmot is the Chief Sustainability Officer at Unilever. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks so much, Katie.
You can find out more about Unilever's initiatives and their work on the COVID Action Platform at our website, weforum.org.